Hey, this is Reggie of myhopeinmarriage.com. All right, I just wanted to make this quick video just to share some thoughts on certain things that I think is important in a marriage. And one of the things that's very important in a marriage, or perhaps in any relationship, is communication. You must communicate, all right? And you must communicate in a timely manner, okay? All right, now what do I mean by that? What do I mean by communication? Now, by communication, that doesn't mean angry outbursts. I'm going to communicate my feelings to you. No, I don't mean that. I mean to really express to your spouse or to tell your spouse in as an effective way as possible, how you feel about something, maybe your dreams or whatever the case may be. Maybe your spouse is doing something that you don't like. You need to let the person know. Come on. Or else your spouse may think you do like it, and they may think they're pleasing you or making you, contributing to your happiness, and they keep doing it. All right? So you want to communicate things. If you want to talk about things, and not necessarily if there's a problem, but just talk about your marriage, talk about your relationship, talk about where you want to go, what's your goals and your dreams and things like that. All right? Communicating is very, very important. All right? Now, when you talk about communication, it has to be a two-way. The husband is communicating with the wife, and the wife is communicating with the husband. All right? No one is trying to usurp authority over anyone. I see many women who try to overpower the man, like as if they're their husband's mother or something like that. The only one who I would say has authority over me besides God is my mom. Okay? So wives, you don't try to be your husband's mother. You don't try to communicate to them the way their mother would communicate with them. My mother would tell me things like for my own good and things like that in a motherly way. But my wife, you have to be careful that you don't become your husband's mother, and your husband and husbands, you want to be careful that you don't become your wife's father or boss or lord, so to speak. All right, you're not supposed to be oppressing your wife. You're supposed to be loving her, and she's going to be right by your side. And it's important that you communicate. It's important that you talk to each other regularly. Sit down and have talks. Just sit on your porch or your deck or in the living room or family room. Just sit down, turn the TV off, all right, and just sit down and talk to each other. It's wonderful how that can bless your marriage if you just talk to each other, if you just communicate. All right? So that's one thing that I say that you must do in a marriage is to communicate. All right? Talk to each other. All right? Wives, talk to your husband not like he's your son or like you're the boss over him. And husbands, don't talk to your wives like they're your daughter or you're the boss over them. Talk to them with respect. Talk to your spouse, with respect. I mean, come on, with respect. Talk to them as you are one trying to move together and accomplish whatever the relationship would accomplish. All right? So that's very, very important that you communicate. And I would highly recommend that both of you begin to read about, how to have a good marriage relationship, reading books like His Needs, Her Needs, How to Be an Effective Husband. There's all kinds of books and things, resources out there that you can read and read them together. When I say together, not that you sit down and read the book together, but both of you read and learn the same things and you talk about them. And you'd be surprised how much your marriage would be better if you were to do that. Because that way you can deal with things that happen. You know some things that you can work on or work towards. You begin to understand the psyche of the man and the psyche of the woman and how you perceive different things. And you can avoid a lot of miscommunications, misunderstandings, a lot of hurt feelings. And with hurt feelings, if your feelings are hurt by your spouse, all right, don't think the worst. Don't think negatively. Don't think, oh, they're hurting me, or, she's hurting me, and she's, trying to beat me down. And, maybe it was just a misunderstanding. All right, so you got to tell her. You got to tell him. then. Don't be timid and not want to say something to your spouse. All right? Don't assume the worst. Don't assume that your spouse is out to get you. Assume that if the worst is that he just doesn't understand, okay? Or he's just communicating to me in a way that I'm perceiving as something else, and he needs to know it. Or I'm communicating with her in a way that she is perceiving another way that's hurtful. And the wife, you got to tell your husband. Husband, you got to tell your wife. When you say that, it makes me feel, now, however you communicate that, you got to communicate it. You may hurt each other's feeling because you're learning how each one perceives certain things. Me, I'm a straight to the point type of guy. I'm just going to tell you, and it's not necessarily going to be emotional. I will tell you how I feel by just giving you the data. And I've learned with my wife, she takes that a lot of times as attacking her, and it's important that I know that, because that way I can stop attacking her. I'm just giving data. And you might find if your wife is telling you things, you might think she's belittling you, and she may not be. It's just maybe that's just the way she's used to talking to people. You never know. So it's good that you can talk to each other safely, respectfully, and not negatively. And when I say negatively, not assuming the worst. Assume that your spouse is on your side. Assume that your husband or your wife is on your side. Husbands, assume your wife is on your side. And that if she's saying something that's hurting you or you think is belittling you, maybe she's not meaning it that way. All right? So communicate, get to know each other, and be blessed by it.